For those of y'all who are just joining, we're going to be having a conversation tonight on friendship. My name is Tisa. For those of y'all who don't know me, I am a life coach. I'm a mindset and emotional intelligence life coach. I'm passionate about cultivating space for love, hope, healing, and growth, and mental health in marginalized and minority communities. I'm going to pass the mic to Derek. Let him introduce himself.
I'm the street therapist, right? I got my my PhD and master's in the corner talking to the youth. You know, I'm a coach. So, you know, I talk to kids and I try to encourage them the best I can and try to focus the right way. That's who I am.
I know that's right. Sherry Travis.
My name is Travis. I'm not drunk yet, but I'm trying to work on that. Yeah.
My name is Sherry. I'm a therapist, writer, clothing designer, artist, family woman. I like to talk about mental health healing conversations and facilitate healing so that we can make this world a better place for us all.
Amen. Yes. I just want y'all to know, I know Travis in real life, and he is quite comical, but he definitely is a super humble person, a very, very humble person.
What you see in Travis is what you get in Travis.
So I do want to, I just want to tell y'all, I had a game night a few weeks ago, and Travis, I should have known because he's very logical and thought-provoking. So I should have known he was going to be really good at certain games, but there were certain games he was killing on, like absolutely killing on, to the point where we were like, okay, well, I don't want you to play anymore. He
is definitely competitive. He may be humble on here, but don't get him started. He talks shit all day.
He was really good. So yeah, he's a competitor and really good at games like Taboo and that's
damn hashtag game, man. Culture tags. That was hard.
Tags. Yes, that was really hard. That was really hard.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate you inviting me. I was busy that night and I couldn't go, but thank you.
You know what? Somebody had told me you was busy, so I actually didn't even bother. Like,
it was probably Travis who told you I was busy, didn't he? Appreciate it.
I didn't want you to feel left out because I knew you was gonna be busy, so I ain't even, you know what I mean? I ain't say nothing.
I was busy growing hair.
So Sherry and Travis, we were just talking about our definition of what makes a good friend. You guys want to jump into that for you guys?
Empathy, a good listener for me, and a reciprocator.
Oh, that's a good one, Sherry. I didn't even think about that one. That's big.
I think I need that in friendship. I think friendship is hard because that's like the ultimate relationship to me. So it's going to require, empathy, a lot of empathy, because even I think self-awareness, healing, focus on self-healing, because the more you're healed, the more I'm healed, the more it's going to be easier for us to have those types of conversations. And if something were to be challenged, I feel like we both know we're going to already be committed to the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. Travis.
I should have been thinking about what I was going to say. I should have been thinking. I was just listening to her.
No, I could just focus it.
Oh, right. I'll say it's going to be some kind of like independence, where I feel additive when we talk. I feel like you add to my life when we talk. I add to your life when we talk, but separate. You very much have your own shit going. Number one, so that your life balance fits with mine, because I have shit going, but also because it's more interesting to be around people who have shit going.
I like that.
Yeah. So that.
You said so that? Was that a complete sentence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I say some more stuff?
I'm just going to let you continue until, you got it all out.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hold on, let me say a little bit something else. Y'all said self-awareness, empathy. I'd say a certain jester spirit I'd like as well.
Yeah.
Some sort of playfulness, some willingness to take a little social pain from me as well. Maybe even dish it out. Maybe I'm a masochist when it comes to friendship. Maybe that's what I'm figuring out right now. Yeah. A little masochism and independence. Perfect. Yeah, that.
Y'all dropping some good ones.
He described himself.
Exactly.
Well, that's actually another great question. Do we look for ourselves in the people that we meet, that we attach to, right? But before I ask that, my girl Sky has joined us. Skylar, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Sky. I'm normally a few minutes late, so it's typical. Like it's perfect because I don't do on time, y'all. It's a thing that I need to work on. So if you my friend, you got to understand that you either got to lie and tell me a different time, or you know that I'm gonna be there. I'm always be there, but I'm gonna get there a little late.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay.
No, for me, a good friend is one that sometimes can listen only and doesn't always have to try to fix it or have a response, that they're cool with just being a listening ear. Definitely can reciprocate. Like if I give off the energy, I need that energy back. See, look, my homegirl's like, she's telling the truth about being late. It's a thing. Hey, Keisha. Definitely able to communicate. Like a good friendship to me is we can have a whole knockout, drag out. We might even get in each other's face, but we'll be cool tomorrow. Like because the friendship is deeper than the situation, we're able to talk about it later, come back to it, and figure it out. Like I can't deal with people that are not emotionally intelligent. They haven't figured out how to express themselves at this age. Because me almost approaching 40, I can't deal with that anymore. Like if you can't tell me what's wrong, then I can't rock with you. I'm willing to listen, like, because I do believe in friendships, you go through stages, you might offend somebody, whatever, but if you can't tell me that, I can't.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, y'all all have dropped what would be in my definition of what makes a good friend, and I think my top three probably would be acceptance. Right? The ability for somebody to see you for exactly who you are as you are. 2 would be reciprocity. And 3 would be the ability to extend grace. Those would be my top 3.
Can I say something about reciprocity? That word? That's females want that more than males.
Really?
I think in friendship, right? Because, if I give my homie something, I don't expect it back. If I invite him to a party and he doesn't come, I can understand that. But females tend to be, if I invite you to a party, I expect you to come. So I think that's the difference between males and females.
My idea of reciprocity is not that I have an expectation of something in return. It's that there's a balance of give and take in the relationship, right? When we look at what Sherry always says, I love it, the longevity of a thing, right?
Right.
Is it a balance of give and take? I'm not looking for it to be 50-50, right? Because I know it's not always going to be that way. But when we look at an extended period of time, is it a give and take, or is it me mostly giving and you mostly receiving, or you mostly giving and me mostly receiving? That would be an unbalanced, lack of reciprocity relationship to me.
Okay. I take that. But it's still a little different from male to female.
Yeah,
You
I was
know?
about to say. So like, is that something that men just don't like? Y'all don't pay attention to?
It might be a little pride in there. Like if Travis gives me stuff all the time, well, if I'm giving Travis all this stuff all the time, I don't expect nothing back from him. You know, maybe it's just pride. I don't know. Travis, you feel the same way? Help me out here, bro.
I think I was trying to see where I agreed with you, because obviously the first snap reaction was that makes no sense. But
Of course, nothing makes sense to you, but
but now that I think about it, if I think about it for the sake of conversation, and all toxic males unite, I think I can agree with you in that sense, because there might be just more emotional depth to the way that women communicate with each other, and because of the more depth, I think maybe it's easier to verbalize the need for reciprocity. Maybe we're not even there yet, on our side of the table, where we're not even exploring enough to say whether or not we feel we're in an imbalanced relationship. So maybe it might be more difficult for us to demand it or even seek it, because we're not even identifying it. Maybe. And then also, we also could have more leeway in general because we don't do it. So maybe more surface level hurts, like lack of reciprocity for social invites or gifts. Maybe that stuff doesn't hit deep enough to make us get rid of the friendship. It still hurts, but we just move through it on some suppression type shit. So I don't know if we don't feel it the same. Maybe we just don't enforce it the same.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes for women, or in general, I feel like relationships are based on the person's relationships with their family. Like, I feel like I've had friends who, if they didn't have good relationships with family members, the expectation for the friendship was much different versus a friend who had really good relationships with like siblings and things like that. So I think there's like an expectation because you're replacing something versus a person who has like good relationships all around. So I think it depends on who you're dealing with, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. I had a friend who it was very apparent that she struggled with a relationship, a paternal relationship, and it was very evident that those expectations that weren't being met in her parental relationship those expectations were being put on her friendship. Uncommunicated expectations were being put on her friendship, and that actually like was causing a lot of friction inside inside their friendship. And they eventually talked about it and it got settled. But to your point, yes, I agree. I'm gonna ask, not pointing to anybody, y'all just jump in. How intentional are you guys with choosing people, choosing friends in alignment with what you define as a good friend?
I don't feel like I choose friends. I feel like I meet people and we either vibe, and then I put you in whatever category you're supposed to be in, and it just kind of aligns how it's supposed to. I think maybe when I was younger I chose friends, but now I don't choose friends. Like I meet people and we interact based on the energy, and if the energy leads us to something else, great. If not, it's surface and it's like, hey girl, hey, but it's nothing deep. And that's just how I think now. I just let things organically be what they are. I don't choose anything. Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
me.
Are you
I very much agree.
Go ahead,
T.
I was going to ask, are you intentional about when you talk about them falling into certain categories, right? What does that process look like for you? What does that process look like for you?
That's when the alignment stuff comes in. Like if you on some like scammer stuff, you might be a cool person, but I can't really be like your homegirl because you a scammer. And a scammer will scam anybody, right? You know what I mean? That don't mean you're not good people. You don't have a good heart, but I can't let you in the circle because you can't be trusted. But I might could go have a drink with you because you fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's the category I put you in. That's the girl I go hang out, whatever. Like, it's nothing wrong with her. She not gonna get in the circle. So I think it just depends on like what you got going on and if it aligns with where I am, or if you're doing a whole bunch of wild stuff and I don't really get down like that, then maybe I may, it's hey, if we happen to be out somewhere or if we go to lunch as a group, it's fine. But I think it just depends. I don't really put a lot of intentionality into anything now. I feel like at this age, I kind of got my circle, and then it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Take a
If I
similar
feel like I don't be pointing questions to people, it'd be dead silence.
Mhm.
Cherry going.
I think I take a similar approach. I feel like I go with how the vibe is for like if we have similarities, if we have similar interests, what your gifts and talents are, your emotional intelligence is a huge part of that. So I'm a very friendly person, but I tend to agree with Sky. If it's not parallel, if it doesn't feel equally yoked, then it's not going to come into my inner circle. We can be cool in different ways, but it may not be what I consider a friend.
I would love to get a male's perspective on this.
What was the question again?
How intentional are you with choosing friends in alignment with what you define as a good friend?
Right. Yeah. I think it naturally like works itself out for me. There's some sort of governor or like a little, I don't know, like spidey sense where you can just get vibes off a single conversation to know what the person's level of self-awareness is, to know what level of intellect they have, to know everything you can know. And I don't think I'm not big on rejecting anybody, I hope. But I'm definitely very kind of shut down and closed up as far as spending time investing myself. So hopefully whoever's in front of me, I was going to lie. No. Hopefully whoever's in front of me feels love like wherever we are, whenever we are. But those chances will probably increase depending on the compatibility just naturally through life, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Mine would be common ground where we're at the moment, because I can have friends at work that are good friends at work because the common ground is work. But when I'm at home, there has to be a different common ground. So I'm intentionally finding friends at work because that's our common ground. Someone outside of work, and like everybody says, it has to be a vibe. Choosing a friend as a child, you grow into that. Choosing a friend as an adult, it has to be a vibe that is, adultish. You know what I mean? It has to be something there. So it's the vibe for me. So
I would say that I am probably in between, right? So I definitely, I'm an extrovert, right? So like I love to meet people, and 9 times out of 10, like, well, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna like you because maybe I won't, but I love people, and I typically can find, it's very easy for me to find something that I like about a person. However, there have been times in my life where I had realized that my friendships lacked a thing that I desired. And I have been intentional about identifying, oh, this person possesses that quality, or this person possesses that. And it almost screams at me in a sense when I'm aware that when I become aware that maybe maybe I need something in my existing relationships lack that. It almost screams at me when I meet a person and they exhibit it. So I would say I'm somewhere in between of letting like meeting people and then letting them. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. That's a lie for me. Let me stop lying, because now that I'm saying that, it is not instinctual I don't know if that's a word, but we're gonna make it a word tonight. I don't easily put people in the categories they belong in. That is something that I developed later in life, the ability to like, okay, you're not a friend, but you're here, or you're this type of friend, or, you know, your level 1 friend versus level 2 friend. That is something that I actually have to work really hard at, because I want people to be closer than what they qualify for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually do have to put work into recognizing where a person falls in my life.
Yeah.
So I think that I probably would fall on the spectrum of being more intentional than not intentional. Speaking of, well, no, we didn't hit on values. How important is it, would you guys say, of having friends? Travis, you kind of mentioned this earlier. Having friends with similar values as you.
I mentioned that earlier.
Well, you said some, not necessarily that, but you said something along the lines of them having shit going on because I got shit going on.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
I mean, maybe it's not a value, but
Yeah. That's logistical, man. That's logistical. If you have a lot of time on your hands, your communication style changes. This is just natural, you know? Like if you've been off work 2 weeks and you don't have like shit filling your day, you can feel yourself, at least I'm assuming this is global, like you're more chatty, you have more space available, you have more time available. It's logic, it makes sense. So for someone who has a ton of extra time, there'll probably be a disconnect. And I think I have this underlying fear in all my friendships, potentially in all my relationships, of letting people down in some way when it comes time to serve them as far as being present or engaged. So I basically form my friendships and relationships around that core fear and social interaction. Whoops, I've told too much.
no, that's a great question. I'm gonna go into that. Okay. So I'm gonna go into that and ask what, and maybe it's a general thing, or maybe it's one big thing that screams at you, but what are your current friendships teaching you about yourself?
Wow. It's hard to answer all of them at one time, like every single
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna grab on this one here for the sake of being quick. I think that I can be a little preachy when I'm on my points, like to be a bit careful when I start talking. A lot of times I find myself giving advice of some sort. These days, more so when I'm asked, I give it, not so much unprovoked as before. But even when I'm asked to give my points and when I start to get going, I can feel myself really most excited, most engaged, most interested in whatever is happening in the friendship when I'm on the stage, when I have the mic or the talking stick. Mm-hmm. So I think what it taught me is how much more difficult it is to listen and engage versus talk and engage. And I think it just showed me a very human part of myself that I'd rather listen to me talk than other people. Which is not, I don't love that discovery, by the way, but that shit's true. Yeah. So I can work on it, or I can just indulge it. We'll see.
That's good. Okay, anybody else?
Okay, so you asked 2 questions. So
let's go into that one. Let's go into, or actually either one. Either how it's important to have friends that have similar values as you, or right, stage is yours. What are your current relationships teaching you about yourself?
So for the value situation, that one was a little bit harder for me because I have a lot of long term friendships. So
okay.
when we started those friendships, of course, that wasn't a thing. And I come from a place, we come from a place in a time where loyalty was everything. So sometimes things are built on the loyalty and not on who the person is. So I think more so now I would probably care about values, but for some people that I'm friends with, it's just because, like,
Yeah.
I'm loyal
Yeah.
to the soil. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with who they are, what values they have. Like, you know what I mean? That doesn't change, because people can have different values, and it doesn't mean that they can't be a good friend. So I don't know that I put that much into that. I just won't engage in things that I don't like that you do, right? If I don't like it, I think more so than anything.
Yeah.
As far as what are my friendships teaching me, I think maybe before I wasn't the best communicator, because I used to have like an anger problem. So it could get like not an anger problem. How can I say it? It was an unhealed
I wish Keita
version.
was going here, but she not.
You said what?
I said I wish Keita was going here, but she not.
Oh yeah. It like maybe like an unhealed version of me. So some people know the unhealed version of me and who that girl was, and then they know like me now, and those are similar people but not the same, right? As far as communication style. And then you know, I'm not the best at showing like affection. Some of my friends are like super affectionate, even like just friends, and I'm just like when they come see me, they're like, hey girl, I'll be like, okay girl, I'm not that. I'm not just but it can be offensive, and I don't mean to be. I'm just not like touchy. I don't do that. Maybe because, you know, my childhood and stuff. I just don't do that. So like I'm not gonna be like hey, but no, I'm not doing that. But I love you.
Would you say that your friends have an understanding, the ones that are affectionate, would you say that they have an understanding of that part of you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And they be kicking my ass too. Like they'll tell me about my shit, and you know, it is what it is. It's all love at the end of the day. That's how it goes. That's why I said earlier, if I can't be friends with you like that, like if we can't like, bitch, fuck you, and then be friends, like if we can't do that, I don't know. We can't be friends. You too sensitive, and we can't be friends. Sorry.
So
Yeah.
can I jump off of that?
Yes.
My friends tell me I'm too sensitive. That I show my feelings right here, and I agree with them. So I'm trying to have that poker face. It don't work, but I'm trying. As far as values, I agree with Sky. Do what you want to do. Just you don't cross the line when it comes down to me. You know, if I'm not, let's say you snort cocaine, that's your value. That's your thing. You do that. Don't bring it my way. I'm not snorting cocaine with you. So I can still be your friend while you getting high off cane. So that's how I
I
feel
was just
about that.
about to ask you too. Thanks you for answering, Derek. I just got some. So I guess you're out. All right, that's cool.
Man, look, I don't need that. I'll take what's in that cup though.
You want some of the kale? Some of the kale juice?
And Sky got something in her cup too, so you know.
It's just it's soda.
It's soda. It's soda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mixed with
Nothing. I wish. It need to be mixed with something. It's Friday. It need to be mixed with something. It's not.
So Derek, I have a question to your first answer or your first comment.
See, now you about to make me sensitive.
That too sensitive comment, is that primarily from men? Is that men and women?
So male friends, they will say, man, you need to stop acting like you're feminine when it comes to certain things. Not saying, well, I'll leave that there. And females is like, man, you're letting people take advantage of you because you're too sensitive. So that way. So yeah, it's coming that way. It's part of my empathy. I'm too empathetic. So
You sound like you
don't
just
take
need some
advantage of me,
boundaries. That's
Tisa. Don't
all.
take advantage of me.
It
What?
just sounds like you need some boundaries. Not that you're too sensitive. Maybe you just need to be able to put some boundaries in place with people that like to take advantage of your kindness. Because kindness and showing your feelings is two different things.
Well, it's kindness. I will take kindness over feelings. Yes.
Yeah. So, maybe
I'm nice. Too nice.
Yeah, but that don't mean that you like sensitive. That just means that you lack some boundaries, and you need to let people know where it stops for you.
I don't like the way this is going, but go ahead. I'm joking.
It's all love, though. It's all love.
I know.
I love it.
I'm gonna put a boundary up here that you can't say stuff like that to me, but I'm joking. I'm joking.
Derek, you just struck a nerve with me. Not because I resonate with that comment, right? I have all my life been told that I'm too sensitive, and I have come to accept and realize that is one of my. I hate that terminology. You are too sensitive. What does that mean? And a lot of times it came down to people having an inability to hold space for all of who I am. I am an emotionally expressive person. That is who I am. I am very affectionate. And me and Sky are friends, right? She don't like affection. I love affection. We're friends. We work it out. We're fine, right? But I'm a highly affectionate person. And I am I express myself through emotions. I am in what I define myself as is extra. You are absolutely going to know how I feel, whether that be good or bad. And I outwardly express it, right? And what I've learned to understand about myself and the people that I have previously chosen to be a part of my life is that people who generally tell me I'm too sensitive are people who just can't hold space for that. That's neither good or bad, right? But that's just me learning, okay, that's important for me in my definition of a friendship. That's why one of the things that I define as a friendship is being able to accept me for who I am as I am. Exactly. That's something that I look for, right? If me presenting myself as I am and who I am is a turnoff for you, then we not gonna be friends, because that's important for me. I need to be authentic in who I am. I just wanted to say that because that kind of. But I agree with Scott in that a lot of people, like, it could be a you're very kind, right?
Right.
And you show that to a lot of people, and a lot of people take advantage of you. I wonder how much of it, and we don't know because your friends aren't necessarily on it, or if you are, let us know. I wonder how much of it is how you express yourself through actual like emotions, or is it a overgiving of kindness, or not even an overgiving to the wrong people?
I think it's given to the wrong people. I think. I mean, some people can accept my kindness or my sensitivity more than others, and some people that don't accept it, some people that take advantage of it are usually the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. So. Thanks for
the therapy session. I appreciate it.
Anytime. We're here for it. That's what we have these conversations for. Sherry, do you want to touch on either the values question or what your relationships are teaching you about yourself?
So for me, values are important, extremely important. Not that we have to have the same actions, but our values. Like, I don't care if you sniff cocaine, smoke cocaine. I don't care if you're a hoe. I don't care about none of that. But when we talk about like core values, are you loyal? That's absolutely important to me. Are you authentic? I'm authentic. That's something that's important to me. So as far as values, I do think that not everything is going to be the same, but certain core values do have to be in alignment. And because of that, I think that going into what I've learned about friends, I think it's a weird statement, but I think from my friends, I've learned how dope I am because my friends are dope as shit. So I think it's one of those things where I agree with Sky, childhood perspectives, like how you grew up. I grew up very isolated, so I don't need a lot from friends or others in that sense. So for me, it's realizing when I do connect with people, who am I connecting with? Who am I in alignment with? Oh, they're pretty cool. Says a lot about me and everyone around me. And I think also I learned I'm pretty cool because they love me for me, because that's part of to me being the friend, right? It's like past friendships, past relationships made me feel like I had to be a way or I had to do a thing in order to receive love. So when I see my friends in my mess, in my darkness, in my crazy state, in my extra state, in my whatever that isn't necessarily acceptable to others, and you love me for it. And I think that helped me to see like, oh, okay, you don't have to be a type of way. And I think that also settles some of that need to connect to others, because it's like the real connection is going to come from you being you, as opposed to trying to connect with people. You're connecting on some type of false relationship. I'm trying to be something, you're trying to be something, and therefore we're not being authentic. That's not a real connection. As opposed to the fact that I can be myself and you can be myself. If we genuinely connect, then I feel like that's going to be a real connection because we're already being authentic to ourselves.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, values are very important. I will say I gravitate towards people who have, again, not all the same, right? You don't have to have the exact identical values as me, but if we are friends, we generally have at least one core value that is the same. And that's important to me because outside of that, like, I'm intentional, right? So I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I would tell you in terms of opposite of Sky, when I talk about, when I think about my friend, most of my friendships are friendships that have not been since I've been a kid or since I've been in high school or since I've been in my 20s. Very few friendships, very, very, very few friendships have been an extended period of time over different periods in my life. And I think that's representative of because I've one, I'm intentional about the people I have in my life, and two, values are important to me. And not to say that the people that maybe I was friends with when I was a teenager are they're not my enemies, right? But they have definitely drifted to a certain category in my life where you're probably not in my circle. And what my friendships are teaching me about myself, I like what Travis said, because that's something that I've learned about myself, in that my relationships are teaching me to just hold space for my friends instead of trying to offer solutions, offer advice, and fix anybody's problem. My relationships with my sisters and my friendships have taught me that. And my second would be to love people the way they feel loved.
Wow.
Because I can think that I'm showing up as an amazing friend, as an amazing sister, and it just not be landing for them. And they could think I'm absolutely like, I wouldn't say horrible, but they may not hold the same sentiment. So being intentional about having which is leads me to my next question. Being intentional about having conversations about expectations. Because my relationships have taught me that I could be absolutely thinking I'm doing a good job or good enough job, and they'd be like, you not, girl, no, you're not. Go back to the drawing board. So my next question, oh wait, I wanted to read this. Makeup and Muscle said giving to the wrong people. That comment about kindness earlier. And Dr. A. Hawk said, there are aspects of my true self in all of my relationships, but I have to show up different in all of my relationships to honor those that I am in relationship with.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well
for
said,
that.
Dr. A. Hawk.
My next question would be about expectations. What do expectations look like in y'all friendships? And I'm gonna let that if y'all need clarification, I'll give it to y'all, but I'm gonna just throw that out there. What do expectations look like in y'all friendships?
So I'll just go and say that I don't have much expectations because I don't have many friends. So my friends that I have are already relatively high functioning. So they fit the expectations already that I would probably say. Because my expectation is that you're trying to be a healed, authentic person, a being compassionate person, like the same values that I have, that's sort of my expectation. But it goes back to what Sky said. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people I'm going to be friendly to. There's going to be a lot of people in my life. There's a lot of people I'm going to socialize and interact with. You're going to see me operate in a way that you may think I'm your friend, but for you to be my friend, I feel like that's the reciprocation factor. Like, you have to be a friend to me also, which is very different than me being a friend to you. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, like, how much are you even being a friend, checking in, asking me how I'm doing, supporting me, and as opposed to me supporting you? I think that's sort of where my expectations come. But again, through me seeing how you move and operate and interact, that's going to determine if we're going to be friends. So like, I'm going to already see how you're moving and operating naturally. And if I see that, that's going to be something that's going to attract me to you and make me want to spend more time with you. If I don't see that, that's going to be something that turns me off, and it's going to make me want to limit my interactions and my time with you. Or, you know, like, I can pour into you, but as far as it being a reciprocal relationship, there's going to be boundaries and limitations. So for me, emotional intelligence, but compassion and love is a huge component of that. If you're not like a loving, compassionate person, I'm probably going to limit my time with you.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just back to the basics of like, what is even a friend? Like, maybe sometimes I feel like we give people the word friend, like the friend word is just used too much. Like, I don't know, like I don't know. It just seems like we use friend too much. And some people are just like people I know and I kick it with. And that doesn't mean that we have like this deep whatever. And then, you know, I don't know. I think sometimes it gets confusing because we don't know how to, again, categorize people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like once you master that, you don't really have an issue. The other thing is, I feel like your energy is going to lead you to people that you're supposed to be around, and you're not even going to have to do a whole lot of, you know, I feel like a healed person will be around people that will automatically be what they need because they are attracting what they need. You're not going to have a lot of issues with this reciprocation or needing to explain expectations because you're vibing with people that vibe with you. It's not going to be off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it will automatically be how it's supposed to be to me. Like, I know people I just met like maybe 2-3 years ago, and they rock with me hard, and I rock for them hard. Like, it just happened that way. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of does, and I think it's because I'm at a different space. Like maybe 10 years ago, it wouldn't have happened like that because I was all over the place.
Right.
Like, I just being honest, like I was all over the place. 10 years ago, you probably
Yeah.
You met me 10 years ago, you probably don't like me.
She did have friends in high school, even though we wasn't in high school 10 years ago. But
you said what?
I said she did have friends in high school, even though we wasn't in high school 10 years ago.
When we was in high school, you had to be a certain type of person because I was definitely a certain type of appetite. I was fresh from New Jersey. It was very different here. So I was very like, I was aggressive. So if you couldn't deal with like aggressiveness, I had no soft side. Like the girls would be, I want to live the soft life. I had none. So, you know, and I can say that now, but like if you had said that to me 10 years ago, I'd be like, what? It was just a lot of rah. Like, so that's why I love like my friends like Keisha's on, like we hug her anyway because they know it's nothing personal. It's just me. You know,
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Amen.
No, I love that you shared that because that was something my friend told me too. I'm a very affectionate person, but I think that's how friendships or relationships in general show you a deeper level of who you are. Because my friend told me I gave her church hugs.
Did you, Sherry? I never experienced that with you. I'm surprised.
But I realized it makes sense because I'm very affectionate, but I am an initiator. I don't like when people initiate with me necessarily. I'm more of the initiator, and that probably does stem from some of my trauma and how I was raised. But like I'm very affectionate, but like it has to be if I'm comfortable with you, and it has to be if I'm cool with you like that, and you may not know that. So that's part of the problem. Like it depends. And for her, she does, but I think we're both therapists, so we're both very empathetic. So she's probably reading me, and I'm reading her, and she knows me probably better than anyone. But yeah, like I think that's one of those things where, like you said, you start to see deeper parts of yourself through your friendships, even through just certain tics that I have that I didn't notice. And friends will point it out, like why you do that. My kids point it out, like why you do certain things. Oh, so I see things about myself that I didn't necessarily pick up on. But I think that even that I talked to your brother about that. My brother-in-law is very affectionate, and me and him laugh and joke because his girl's not as affectionate and Travis isn't as affectionate. I will sit on the couch and cuddle with my brother-in-law. And like me and him talk about it, I'm like, you don't necessarily have, I think like even to what we were saying, we think we have to get everything from one person. That's something that my friends know about me. That's something that people like that. Even when I talk to people, like, don't get it twisted. Like I'm a touchy person. I don't have that doesn't mean anything deeper than that. It's just who I am. I'm just a friendly person. But I think even that is where I learned who you are can be misinterpreted because I'm a very friendly person in how I engage with you. So you may think we're friends. We laugh about that between family or friends all the time. Like that's not necessarily, that doesn't have anything to do with us having a reciprocal relationship or me being, because to me, if we're friends, I feel comfortable around you. I feel comfortable being myself around you, but I also feel comfortable reaching out to you because that's not something I do. So if I reach out to you and I'm asking you for help, you know I'm your friend. Like we're cool on some level because I can feel comfortable enough to talk to you, ask you questions, reach out to you.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that.
I'll be waiting.
You telling too much trade secrets.
I'm joking.
No, but I think that's the difference because I like what you said because that's what friends showed me a little bit is that I am very more distant. Like I'm a very sociable, friendly, vulnerable person, transparent person. So I think that throws people off because they're like, oh, we're friends. Maybe not. I don't know because I'm more of it takes a while for me to put my guard down and be like, yeah, we're cool. Like, yeah, we're friends. And I think like it's funny that Tisa said that because I felt very comfortable with Tisa right away. That goes to one of these things that we said. I know people for 20 years, 30 years, my whole life that I don't talk to as comfortably as I talk to you, Tisa.
Yeah.
Because it's another person.
I was going to say my experience of you would be
that. A cancer. Like that.
Yeah.
A cancer woman too. I don't like Travis laughs because that's one of the things that stood out to me when we did the brunch at your house. After the brunch, which was like hours and however long, and we were there for whatever, and a lot of people would have been done. And me and you sat and talked for I don't know how long. I put my scarf off.
A couple hours.
Couple
hours after.
For sitting in the parking lot for hours. You a real one.
That's how you know. Because when I get to talk, he don't even care. That's how you talk about step to mic for you. It don't matter if it's church, if it's somewhere. This man will just be in the car. He ain't rushing me. He's not hitting me up. He ain't blowing me up like, where are you? What's going on? He's just sitting patiently in the car, put some music on because he's not as social. Do your thing. And just lets me be me. And I think that's even something that I've pointed out over the years for why we're together. It took me a while to communicate verbally. Like, I'll write letters. I'll write you a note. I'll tell you, like, 4-page letter, like, too long of what I'm thinking and feeling. But he let me be myself. And I think because of that, it made me comfortable enough to open up more and express myself more with him. So I think, like, even what you said about that, allowing yourself to be you, that's a huge component for me. Like, the more I feel like I can be me, the more I open up. If I don't, then I'll shut down quick.
Same.
Yeah.
What about guys?
That's how we get,
Go ahead.
no, I was just saying that's how we get along. Because I feel like there's a lot just naturally was just like, it's what Sky said. When people are healed, it doesn't take much because they're already healthy and trying to be a lot of what you're trying to be, which I think that's the difference, because I'm trying to be a healthy person. If you're trying to be a healthy person, we're going to be probably on the same page. If you're not trying to heal, we probably aren't going to be on the same page in a lot of ways. And I think that's where it's hard for people, because everyone's journey is different. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean you're not cool. But it's sort of like, I'm not going to allow someone who's currently sick with COVID to drink after me, because that would infect me. So unfortunately, the more I spend time around you, that's going to start to infect me. So it does require, I guess, certain standards or certain values so that I know that you're healthy, that you're not going to infect me or the people I care about, because that's even more important to me than me. Like, if we're friends, that means you're coming around my kids. I don't play with that. Like, you're spending time around my kids, you're spending time around my family. So therefore, like, yeah, I want to make sure that that's safe and comfortable for everyone. And we talk a lot about Black culture. Go to a family event. The stuff that family says, or the stuff that people think it's okay to say, this is going to be very hard.
Facts. All right,
But you know what? That's why I now ask people, are they in a space when I need to like dump? I'll ask them now, because, you know, I think years ago I would just dump on people and not know that that probably was impacting the relationship. And if the person wasn't good at communicating, then it seemed like I always like was dumping on them and they weren't getting anything from it. But you know, when you going through something, you don't see it like that. You just know you need to get it out. I'm a person that I have to talk about it. I can't.
Yeah.
I have to process. I might need to process it 3 or 4 or 5 times. But if you don't tell me that I'm dumping on you and it's weighing you down, or it's not helping you, or it's infecting you, like you said, then I have no idea. And it took me a while to get to a space where it was like, oh no, you can't do that all the time. So I'll ask them.
So Scott,
I think I learned from friendship. Yeah.
How did you learn that about yourself? Was it somebody saying, hey, I feel like you're dumping on me? Like, how'd you learn that?
Somebody called me selfish, and selfish in a way, you know, because, you know, when you think about somebody being selfish, you think like, oh, they never do anything for anybody, whatever. But I think it was because I always was dumping on them, right? Or whatever. So I had to be like, what the fuck? You know me. I was like, what? Like, girl, I give anybody the shirt off my back if I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I wasn't looking at it from like an emotional part, right? And I was emotionally selfish at that time. And you know, I had to check myself on that. And then, you know, just me being in the field and practicing and learning like boundaries and things like that, and being able to respect other people's boundaries. To Dr. Ahalt's question, if they say no, I don't get mad. I respect it, because some days I can't, because that's what I do all day. So like sometimes I'm like, I have no space for you. I don't have the capacity.
I love that. I hate to hear no. I'm not gonna lie. I hate it. I have to process it. My best friend told me no. We were having a beef, me and Travis, and I was done. And I wanted her to go, and I asked could I stay with her, and she told me no.
Wow.
That crushed me. But I respect it. That's the thing that's different for me. Like, I feel like I respect people when they tell me no, or when they can tell me the hard shit, then I feel like I respect them more. So it made me sit down and think about it. And I think that's where I learned she's one of the people that taught me boundaries a lot, because I think that we have an entitlement with family and friends. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that's almost even embedded in our culture. This is what family's supposed to do. This is what friends are supposed to do. And she's like, no, this is my space. I ain't supposed to do it. And it bothered me because I knew I would. And that's the problem. I would do so much for people that when people show me they won't, I'm like, hold up. I'm going to do this for you and you won't do it for me? Yeah, because we're not the same. And it doesn't have to be the same. And I think that's something that I learned through friends, is that we're not going to always have the same boundaries even, and that's okay. But I like what you said, because I think that shows, like you even said, your own growth and development, which is how we start to develop better friends. Like even in childhood, it's just who's in school with you, who's in the same class. Oh, you have a book bag. I like that show. We're friends now. As we become adults, I think it becomes way more complicated, because it needs to be built on something deeper. And that communication is where it has to be developed. We don't know as 20-year-olds how to communicate. How could we possibly know what that even looks like or what that means? But as we get older, we have to develop the communication skills and the relationship skills. And I think for me, that's a big part of it. Like, who's willing to put in work? Like, even to the value question, like, are you willing to work on relationships? Because it's not going to just happen. So, yeah, I need you to be able to tell me your truth, even if I don't like to hear it. I don't like hearing no, but I can. That's where I'm a crier. I'm an emotional expressor. Accepting that doesn't mean I'm soft. Accepting that means tell me what you feel anyways. I will process my own emotions. I will deal with my own thoughts and feelings. But when you tell me it, it makes me respect you, but it also makes me see that you respect me, that you see I can handle it. I don't like that whole concept of like I'm protecting you or whatever, so I don't tell you certain stuff. Nah, tell me all of it so I can figure this out on my end, what I need to do, and I can be prepared, and I will adjust accordingly. But I think that's where it takes some trust, because I think there's a fear in a lot of relationships where, like, I don't want to say this thing to hurt your feelings. Oh, I'm going to cry. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm going to go cry about it. I'm going to be in my room. I'm going to feel all types of ways. But then I realize that's my emotions. That's my worldview. That's my experience. And I'll come out of it. But, yeah, like, I think that even goes into accepting people for who they are. I'll process it, but I'm going to feel it.
Yeah, but, you know, a lot of it is just culturally, we were raised, our generation was raised in the, you can't tell me how you feel. You can't, you know, you couldn't have those conversations like we're doing that with our children now, right? Where you sit down and I want you to be able to express yourself. But for years, we weren't able to do that. So now you get dumped into adulthood and you don't know how to communicate your feelings, right? So that goes back to what you were saying with the work, right? And I think sometimes people feel like friendships are different than romantic relationships, and they're not. The same way you work with that dude, you know what I mean? You got to work with me like that. And I'm guilty of it just like the next person. Like, there are people that I probably easily let fall off for whatever reason and didn't work hard toward it for whatever reason because I wasn't able to communicate properly. And it's just something that we as a people got to get out of, like, not allowing children to learn how to communicate their thoughts and feelings so that when they get to adulthood, they can do that effectively in their relationships, whether it's a work relationship, a romantic, whatever. It's just off. The balance is off in that regard to me.
Yeah. So like
another good point, because for me, for female friendships at least, their relationship with their partner is a huge part of our relationship dynamics, because a lot of women will prioritize that. And that's not a bad thing, but it's like, if you don't put any priority on your friendships, we're probably not going to be friends, because we've been together for so long that I will, like, peace out. Sorry, Travis, I'm going to hang out with my girls. If you're the type that drops me at the dime every single time for your dude, that's a problem for me too, because I will drop my family and kids. Like, if I'm telling them I'm leaving y'all to go hang out with you, I must really like you. If you can't do the same, then that's not going to be even like when are we even going to hang? Because I'm already taking out of work and time and family and friends. So, like, I think that goes into, like, what you said, like, people will tell you time. I have several businesses, a whole family, kids, all of that. If I still put time aside for you, you could at least do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Travis and Derek, in like a male on male relationship, right? Friendship. Let me reword that. I don't want to trigger y'all. You know, y'all sensitive about y'all. You know what I mean? With your friendships, do expectations come into play for you guys? Like, do you have them? Are you expressing them? Like, is it you get what you get?
I don't have expectations. Well, let me not say that. I don't express my expectations, but I expect you to be honest with me. Again, that's in every relationship. You know, I need you to be honest with me. Tell me what's on your mind. And sometimes you got to give it to me in a way that I don't want to hear it, but I need to hear it. So honesty, transparency, that's what I expect. Now, I don't want it all the time, but that's when it's time to do that. Or when the guys say I'm dumping, tell me the truth. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. If you dump on me, I'm going to give you the truth back. So that's my expectations. Other than that, I don't got many expectations.
On my side, I think expectations are a fake thing. I think their desires out of check. We talked about this on previous podcasts. Anyone who expects anything, which means there's some certain outcome they want in the future, and they're trying to say it should happen, or I'm going to be upset if it doesn't, some type of shit like that, that's an ungrounded, weird way to look at things, because we have no control over anybody else or any future events. Now, I understand somebody having a desire for me to meet certain social standards for their emotional needs. 100%. I get it. Everybody wants something. I want stuff. You want stuff. You want stuff from me. I want stuff from you. It's almost natural, these desires. But anybody who would take one of those desires and then take some actions, behaviors, or occurrence that happen between us and say, Trav, you should have been there for me. You should do this. Why didn't you do that? And they're angry. I don't have any problem saying I'm sorry that didn't happen and you're upset now. That makes sense. You wanted this didn't happen, you're upset. But if you're saying some kind of thing of like, so that means here comes the judgment, our friendship is now decreased, like some kind of bullshit's coming on the end of your desire, you've lost big riz. That it's not going to happen. It's going to be a really disappointing situation. And I think for me, the thing I learned, and they're going to learn, and I'm going to learn, is that shit's it's not real, and we're going to have to realize and deal with life after you find disappointment. Since I have a wife and 3 kids, their expectations, I feel, are equally bullshit. However, I have a much harder time living in that kind of truth with them. She said better. So their expectations are bullshit to me. You're the father. You're supposed to care about my sports. You're the husband, and we're supposed to be affectionate with each other. This is bullshit. It's not real. There's no supposed to. It's nice if it happens and you want it to happen. Okay, true. So because I love you, I'm going to try to do it. Because we have the love, I will put my effort to try to do it. Oh, you didn't do it. The expectation has failed. You're a bad father, husband. Bullshit. Not true. Not true at all. Completely made up and in your mind. But because I love them, we'll do it. And so with the friendship, it allowed me an arena that I care about much less than my top 4. And so that's where those expectation games, it's just not going to work out. It's not going to work out. I don't know about their side, but I know anything getting sent this way that you're telling me, I wanted this to happen, so it should have happened, and then you're fuck out of luck. I promise you that. That's not going to happen.
Okay, so if I'm a guy, right, and I say to you, well, I guess it doesn't matter whether it's a guy or girl, but if I say to you, if I don't express it as an expectation, but I express it as a desire, I say,
sure, Travis,
yeah. Dang, I did feel, you know what I'm saying, a little hurt that, you stood me up, whatever. It would mean so much to me if you were to be able to, spend next Saturday with me so we can have some quality time. Would that be received differently to you?
Wow, that would be amazing. Yeah, now see, that's the shit right there. That's the shit. I am hurt, and I want this. Okay, now let me see what I got going on. I can respect that. And you're giving me notice, hopefully. I can respect that. But if it's just like, no, fuck this. Like, if you ride or die, then I'm dead then. It ain't no ride or die. It's dead. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
So if we can remove what I hear is if we can remove the should, what I should be doing, and
Right.
the judgment attached to that, what I'm not
Right.
doing. If
Right.
you express what you need from me, then I can receive it a little bit better.
Yeah, because that's the true thing. If you say, I'm hurt you didn't do X, and I would like you to do X, those are two true statements. I can work with that. If you say, you're supposed to be, well, why the fuck didn't you? All these things are just made up emotional concepts that you want, and now you want to project it to me. I mean, hopefully out of love and friendship, I would still treat that gently. But inside, I'm saying that's bullshit and made up, and fuck that.
You know what that reminds me of?
Mhm.
Have you guys had an opportunity to catch Lauren London on a podcast or any interview? Like,
Yes.
she talks a lot
saw her-
about.
I saw her with Alicia
experiencing
Keys, I
people.
think. Yeah.
She talks
yeah.
a lot about experiencing people and not having like expectations, and like how Nipsey taught her about not living in that space that you're talking about, and like just knowing that it's an experience.
Okay.
And when she talks about it, it changes how you look at everything because of how their relationship was. She talks
Yeah, okay.
a lot
Interesting.
about that. Yeah,
I haven't heard. Where was that? Where was that? What was the platform?
I feel like it was with what's his name? Is it Jay Shetty? That guy.
Oh.
That guy. I feel
The
like it was
Indian
on that one when she did that one.
Okay. Yeah, I like that guy.
If not that one, maybe the Angie Martinez one. She said it more than one time, but she definitely
Okay.
speaks on like experiencing people and not like owning them or having like, because
Yeah.
sometimes when we're in a relationship, we have like this ownership issue
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
mine, especially romantic relationships. And even some friendships, like I when you're younger, people get territorial, even older. Like you're not supposed to have new friends, and it gets weird. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a unique question, not a unique question, but I have a question specific to Sherry and Travis. I forgot one of you actually said it earlier, but like, okay, so you guys are married, right? How important is it to your marriage relationship, and even your external friendships? Is it that you guys have share the same friends, or is it at all?
It's not really important that we share the same friends. I do think that we try to have it's just natural that we're going to have our own friends, but also some friends that are like sort of in common. I don't think we care. I think I care more than he does, because I am more of the possessive, protective person. Not in the sense that you can't have other friends, but I don't want nobody fucking with my people.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm possessive in that sense. Like, I'm the protector. Like, I don't like a lot of crazy shit with my people I care about. So, like, in that sense, I feel a little bit more protective and, like, guarded with, like, even some of his friends or who he hangs out with. Like, Lord, you're going out with this guy. It's going to be a night. But I think also, like, it's weird, but like for me, if I care about a person, if there's someone in their life they really care about, I'm gonna like them. Like I'm gonna care about them. Like I already care about you so much because I love hard that I'm gonna care about the people in your life.
Yeah.
So they need to be respectful. Not that I need to like them, but they need to respect each other. And so like even like if my friends, like if they say something about him jokingly or whatever, like that's just who I am. I'm very protective. So it's gonna like you have to be willing to deal with my energy in that sense. Like it's going to be cautious what you can say about people I care about. But as far as them having to like him, not necessarily, but be careful what you say about him.
Who doesn't like
way.
me? Who doesn't like me? Come on.
I've had friends who've had stuff to say. Like they made, like that's a whole nother thing. Because I feel like what you said about friends, like some of the other issues in people will come out.
Yeah.
So I've had female friends who expect him to be a certain way with them because he's the guy. Oh, go to my car and get my stuff out. Whoa.
What?
Say what you say.
Oh, yeah.
Say what
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Say what you say then. Then say what
He said, say what I say. Are you giving him head? Like,
Yeah, no, because
that's my version of what I say. But like, how you expecting him to do certain? But I've had female all kinds of stuff. They will call him like, "Hey, I'm stranded on the side of the road. It's like, hold up. Like, I don't mind him doing it, but the expectation factor is different. But I think that's where I said I have like a different standard with friends because we've been together so long. I think people think like, oh, he's your guy. He'll just do it for me. No, not necessarily. It depends. And I think I had to learn that too because I am diehard for my friends too. So I'll be like, yeah, why we not going to pick her up? Why we not going to do X, Y, and Z? So I think that's what boundaries for me came in, of learning the boundaries and the importance of like, he doesn't have to serve them the same way he serves me, and he's not going to all the time. But even just like, I think establishing the rules for friendship, because some of his friends, I love them, but do I like them? Maybe not.
No names.
And he'll probably know. He
names.
knows the ones I like, but I love them. Like, so like, I want you to hang out with them. They can come. All of those things, they'll probably never even see it on me. But it goes back to even what we said about certain values. Like, if certain traits I don't see, it's going to cause me to have less respect. Doesn't mean I don't like you or love you, but the respect and having you around my kids is going to be a whole, like, I don't know how I feel about that. But you can hang with them. Now, female kids is also interesting because that's also even more like they have to show respect to me too. So it's like, depends on how much they respect me.
Sky, you was gonna ask a question.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to ask you guys, do you feel like the pandemic changed the nature of friendships and how we go about friendships? I think the pandemic was hard on friendships because people were dealing and life was life, and it was hard to navigate that. And I think some friendships suffered and some made it through and some didn't, right? And I don't think that it had anything to do with the people. I think it was just way too much going on, and I don't think people had the capacity, just wasn't there, and you had to choose who you was giving your time to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's true. Like, I think me and Travis are very similar in that, like, we don't give a lot of time outside of the house. And so I think that's already sort of something that in order to be our friend, people have to understand. I also think for most of our marriage, I've had few to little friends. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that's kind of built into our relationship. I think very early on, it was like codependent. Like, we're expecting each other to be a lot of that stuff, especially having dated young. So I think a lot of our challenges in our relationship was developing friends within the relationship, because for so long it was us, all about us, our kids, us getting, like, they were young. So like a lot of that focus was on them. And I think the friendships early on were the people who could support that, meaning like, you see, I had kids at 19, so I'm not in the clubs, I'm not doing what every other woman and girl is doing. So if you're expecting that of me, you're going to be disappointed. Like, I'll go out on birthdays probably, but like outside of birthdays, I wasn't really like out running the streets. So I think my friends already kind of had that expectation on some level, but I think the pandemic heightened my need for social connection. So I think that was a challenge for us. I think that's where you saw, like, even, I think I probably got on Instagram recently, like just in the middle of the pandemic, or at the beginning of the pandemic is when I like was more active on my social media page. So I think even that was an adjustment for us. But Travis is so much more laid back than me. I'm considered the more outgoing between the two of us in that sense of like socializing. He's since the beginning of time, since we've had little kids, he's like, go do it, go. Like, I'll be home chilling and waiting, but like, you go. He doesn't necessarily want to. I think it was me feeling guilty to leave him with the kids, or me feeling like I was supposed to be home with them. I think that part changed, but I think part of that is our kids getting older. So and my kid, actually our kids were instrumental, because our kids were like, Mom, you need to go. Like our oldest will even tell us, like, y'all need to go on a date. Like, y'all need to go out and go on a date. Like, so I think that is where my kids are some of my friends. So like, I talk to them probably more than I talk to a lot of people. They're honest with us. They're transparent with us. So they'll be big on telling us, like, these are things y'all need to work on. I listen to them. Like, you right.
Kids.
Oh my goodness. They'll tell me, my kids, that's like, when I say friends is a high standard, my kids will say who is or isn't a good friend to me. They legitimately believe certain, like, that's a good friend, don't really like her. I listen to their feedback on that too, because I think all of us are invested in each other's health and best and well-being. So I know that they're not saying it from a place of just judgment, but like they care. Like I care about my mom, just like I care about them. I want good people around her. Don't really like how they treat me. So I take that in. Like, okay. And I'm trying to set an example for you. So if I'm setting an example for you, is this the example that I want to set for you?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that your kids are your friend, right? Because I don't know why, and it's so crazy that you mentioned that, because earlier I was thinking, I said, I'm so tired of Black people telling their kids, I'm not your little friend. No, you need to be your kid's friend. Like, I work in the school, so like I talk to kids all day, and I promise you I know way more about your kid than you do. And that should not be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that kid, you're missing out on stuff because they don't want to tell you, because you've always placed them in this box of, don't talk to me. I'm not your little friend. No, you need to be your kid's friend. You can have boundaries and still be your child's friend. Like, it's crazy to me. It's insane. Like, so if parents are on here, stop saying that, because you don't know.
And it's funny you said that, because I did tell my middle daughter, I told her that one time. What was she, 10? She might have been 8.
Yeah.
She, to this day, is angry at me for that statement. She does not let me live it down. And I think when you said that's something I had to grow into, because we're so used to saying certain things or even believing certain things. So I felt like that's what I told her. I was like, we can be friends now because you're older. But you're right. Like, I think it depends on how we're defining friends. I think all friendships need boundaries. So, yeah, you need boundaries with your kids.
Yeah.
But I think that, like you said, I think that even the concept of baby talk, we underestimate children. We think that they're less capable than they are. And I had to learn to accept that. But I think I had to learn to let go of the shoulds and the standards. Like, this is how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
This is what it should look like. Why? Like what you said, like my kids tell me so much stuff, like deep stuff, smart stuff. I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta listen to that. Because what did she called me out on it. Like, I told them when they would say stuff to each other, it doesn't matter who's saying it to you. I don't care who's saying whatever they're saying to you. When you take it in and digest it, is it right? Do you agree with what they're saying? Does it make sense? Is it true or is it not true? So she told me. She said it back, because I was like, you shouldn't say that to me. She was like, but you told us. It doesn't matter who's saying it. Is it true or is not? So I had to go sit with that. You're right. And I think that's also the best type of advice to give people, is their own words. She threw my words back at me. This is something you taught us. Oh, so now I got to digest it, and now I got to eat it.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, because I feel like that's like where a lot of people are losing their kids, especially this generation. They have the...
I think the sound went out.
Where your volume go?
My bad. Can you hear me now?
We hear you.
It did.
No, I was saying we got to get rid of some of those old school concepts that put children in these boxes and creates this barrier of communication, because people are missing where they could save their kids at, right?
Yeah.
I'm dealing with high school and middle school, so these are the ages where it could go right or it could go left. And if you sit in that space of my grandmama, mama, okay, and look where your Uncle Pookie and Tay and all of them at.
You took us to church on that one.
I'm just saying.
I agree.
The stuff that I hear daily, it's like, but does your mom know? And most of the time, it's a no.
It's a no.
It's a no. So I'm glad you said that.
I have a question for I'm gonna shoot this one to Derek first. I'm gonna shoot this one to Derek first. Derek, what have your friendships taught you about your boundaries?
Ooh.
Good question. What have my friendships taught me about my boundaries? I got to be careful not to cross them. I got to watch what I say, not to offend to the point of pushing away. Does that make sense?
Good one.
I have to be gentle when I say certain things when I'm trying to lift someone up. That's a hard one. That's a hard question right there. Thank you for stumping me with that.
You're welcome.
So learning to be gentle with what I say to people, that's a boundary that sometimes I cross, and they take it and I'm hurting feelings. So, that's it. That's it.
Okay, going back to what you said earlier, right, about sensitivity and kindness, has the feedback you received, or how has the feedback you received from your friends in terms of you being, the narrative of you being too sensitive, or you're too kind to the wrong people, you're getting taken advantage of, how is that shaped how you interact with other people?
I might be hesitant to tell them everything that's in my spirit. You know, I'm hesitant to tell or give too much information where they'll take my kindness or offer too much or say that I will do too much, so they won't take my kindness for granted. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. What about you, Travis? What have your friendships taught you about your boundaries?
Yeah, I would say it taught me what it costs to set them. Because we all know we need them, and then you have to do it and say no, or say not now, or say whatever it is that thwarts the energy coming in, which is the point of a boundary. And the cost of what does it feel like to presumably hurt the feelings of somebody you care about, right? After you say the no, what is your internal experience? Because setting the boundary, yes, there is the saying no, but then really the main work of it, at least for me, is the difficulty of being the asshole after you say no, because you care about whoever you're setting it with, and now their feelings are hurt, and all right, so their feelings are hurt, and then it's time for you to stick with that shit, or even do it again, because you might have to set that shit immediately after, right after the person's feelings are hurt, like in the middle of their hurt feelings, put some more shit up on that fence, like. And so it taught me that what boundaries actually cost is getting okay with being the bad guy, and then breaking down what that means. What does that mean to me personally, that somebody's calling me a bad friend, a bad father, bad husband? What's my internal experience? How do I process that? Do I want to change my behavior because I've heard that phrase or sentiment shared with me? Yeah, so that's my work. That's what it taught me, is how to get okay with the discomfort there after setting the boundary, and then also breaking down that shadow work of what it looks like to be titled a disappointer of people at times.
That's good. I'm a jump in and say, for me, my friendships taught me that I am a lot better at setting boundaries in romantic relationships than I am in friendships. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't even, I think when I first learned about boundaries, I actually wholeheartedly in my mind was like, okay, I need boundaries in romantic relationships and not being codependent and work, and that's it. Like it took me a while to realize that I actually had an inability. I was doing a bad job of setting my boundaries in my friendships with women. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Mm-hmm.
So, setting your boundary with your friends, is it because of exception? You wanted to be accepted by them? And in romantic relationship, is it because, I'm not saying you wanted to control, but you want some sort of control over that?
It's,
See what
that's
you're getting
actually a very great question. I'm gonna tell you what popped up for me when you said that. Initially, it was that in romantic relationships, I felt like I was often being taken advantage of and
Yeah.
overgiving and not knowing, just being an overgiver, right? And it being very loud in my life. And I guess it was very loud in my life because that was a desire that I had, a desire for a romantic relationship. So, and they were failing, right? Or I felt like they weren't giving what they were supposed to give. So not they weren't a, you know what? They weren't, most of the time my romantic relationships are not reciprocal. And in my friendships, they are a lot more reciprocal.
Okay. Yeah.
And so like I in my mind was like, okay, I need to set boundaries so that I feel like I'm not over giving. And I didn't necessarily have that feeling in my friendships, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, that didn't mean that boundaries still didn't need to be set. So
Right.
it took me a lot longer to identify where boundaries needed to be set in my friendships. if
Yeah.
that makes-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Sky?
Tell me what the original question was again.
What have your friendships taught you about your boundaries?
I don't even know if I really had boundaries. Because my love language is acts of service. So, it doesn't matter if I'm, like, I don't know.
I love it.
I think that my friends have learned before me to put in boundaries, which made me have to put in boundaries, right? Like, so like now I tell people, and I think to Travis's point, because he was saying like you feel like an asshole, this, that, and the third. I think it depends on when you lay the boundary and what the boundary is, right? Because every boundary isn't really negative. It's just more of a thing of like what you're not going to entertain or engage in, right? So like I tell people now, like, hey, if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, please don't call me with a problem because I do that all day long. I might can talk to you about it on a Saturday or Sunday, but like sometimes I live in a space now where I use capacity all the time because I just don't have the capacity. If I'm talking to people about their problems all day long, I just can't even function. I can't do it. So sometimes I won't answer the phone. So like people understand that about me now, right? It's not personal. I'm not ignoring you. I don't have the capacity. So that's like a boundary for me, right? And it took me a long time and burnout and stress and tiredness and doctors telling me you need rest and I was bad. So I don't know. That's why I say I don't know if I have boundaries for real because I still overwork. I still the children at my school could get all kinds of things from me. Like I need to claim some of them on my taxes. Amen. Like when you spending $200 on snacks, like it's insane.
I understand.
So I don't know. I don't know that I have them. I have some of them, but not a lot of them. And when it comes to romantic relationships, I don't. You know what? I think I had a long time learning how to deal with what is the word I'm looking for? Not attachment, so more to say, but like a fear of losing people. And I would overperform in like romantic relationships. Just like to your point, Tisa, like, cause that was like a large desire. And people, when I say they ran to the bank with that shit, to the goddamn bank. And if I could throat punch,
Took you for everything you had, girl.
But you know what? But when you sit down as a healed person, when you sit down and you go over, it's like, could you really be mad? That was you.
Wow.
Can you really be mad? Like I can't even be mad because it's like I gave you the card. I gave it to you. They ran to the bank, but I gave them the card and the PIN number.
Wow.
So like when you really get to a place where you can really be honest about you,
Yeah.
you can't be mad because people always ask me, how are you cool with this person? How are you cool with that? They did this, but I let them.
Wow.
I let them.
Wow.
Mm.
And it took a long look. You know how the internet spinning wheel. It took a long time. But you know when you get it and it sounds bad when you say it out loud, but it's like shoot, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Never again. But again, it took a long time. So you know, yeah. So, I don't know.
That was good.
I don't know if that even answered the question.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
That was good. What about
It
you,
took a
Derek?
long time, but you answered it.
You know what, Derek?
I'm
You know,
joking. I'm bringing humor to this.
No, it was good.
Travis is not as funny as me, so I'm gonna bring it.
I think friendship for me taught me to let go of boundaries. I think my boundaries are a castle with a moat, with a like I don't let people in. And I think that that's the challenge for me is like I take a while to let people in, and I think true friendship showed me how to let people in. I remember we're not even friends anymore, but I still feel like she taught me. I remember getting in an argument with one of my friends, and she was talking to me about like intention, and she was just kind of like, well, you know me, and you know my intention isn't to hurt you, so try now to process things that I say through that lens. And I think it kind of showed me my like cutoff game is strong, super strong. Like we almost weren't a couple because he hung up on me, and I was done. As far as I knew, we was done. Like you hung up. That's it. If you never contacted me again, we would have never spoke again. I think it was really recognizing a value in other people because I've done so much alone, and I've done so much like just depend on myself for so much that it's like there's not a need for me to reach out too much, not alone. And in my history, when I would, it wasn't necessarily reciprocated or received well, or you didn't necessarily respond to me with compassion necessarily. So I just learned to be super independent and not need anybody. And I think that, or at least I thought I didn't need anybody. And I think that's where friendships came in to kind of show me like how beautiful life is when you have people that understand you or love you for who you are and accept you for who you are. And I think I used to work so hard. Like even some of what you guys are saying, I worked so hard to do whatever, to be a friend, to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to be a good person. And I think that's where friendship showed me. You ain't got to do all that. Like people that genuinely care about you, you don't got to do all of that. Like you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it all right. You don't have to do all of these things. They like you for you. And I think that allowed me to let a lot go, a lot of the effort and work and energy that I was exhausting myself in. Similar to you, Sky, I'm a giver. And I don't, like Travis always says, I have poor boundaries. I think I don't necessarily agree because I do have boundaries. Like if you annoy me or piss me off or irritate me, but I'm just a giver. And I think like that's the thing. I don't want to have certain boundaries that others may have or that others think are necessary. I don't care about those boundaries. But when I do set a boundary, I want you to respect it. And I think that's where I learned to be okay with that because it looks different. I have friends that will tell me like, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. And I get that. Your love for me and your care for me is telling you that I'm exerting myself too much. I appreciate that. But I'm also okay giving in this area. Yeah. But I think I had to realize what I was okay giving and what I wasn't okay giving. And I think that's where friendships came in. Even recognizing, for me, the reciprocation, there's not a lot that I won't do for people that I love. Mm-hmm. So when people give me a boundary, it lets me see, oh, it's okay not doing that. Like, you're not giving that to me, which means you're not expecting that too much from me. So I don't have to do all of that extraness. I can just relax. I can just like chill. And I think that's where grace comes in. I think my friends have been very gracious at showing me certain things or just letting me be me. So it's like, oh, just be yourself and therefore give yourself some grace to not have to get everything perfect or do everything right all the time or just be on 100 all the time. You can just be you. And I think that's where, to me, the value of friendship is. It's not going to be instant, but like when you meet the right people and develop the right tribe, then it allows you to sort of be more authentically you. And I think that's where friends help me to develop what tribe looks like. Because I do think we all have like the good friends and the bad friends. And I think that's where I even learned to define, well, what does friendship look like for me? What does it mean to me? Even if that's not what it means to you, like what does it mean to me and what am I looking for? And sort of even being okay with that. If it looks different than what you want, if it looks different than what you need, that's actually okay. When we were in couples therapy, our friend, who's also at that time was our pastor, that's what he told me. Like, I would ask, and I see now a lot of my clients come to me and they ask me sort of like, is this okay? Like, what is it okay to think? What is it okay to feel? And that's sort of how I was approaching him. Like, these are the things I want, but everyone's telling me this is crazy or this is wrong. He's like, do you want it? Yeah, that's it. It was like, to me, mind-blowing. Like, mind-blowing. Like, someone's telling you, that's it. That's enough. You want that? Yeah. You need that? Yeah. You don't need anyone else to tell you it's okay. I don't need it. I may not want it, but you want it. That's fine. And I don't know why, but that for me was a huge moment where it was just like, okay, like, I don't need to get any acceptance or validation from others. I just need to know this is what I want and need. That's enough. You may or may not be able to get it to me or give it to me, but that doesn't negate me wanting or needing it. That was very healing, because that's, like you said before, that's a very different perspective or approach from what Black families typically have.
Yep.
And from just my family, I already knew I was different, but like to have someone who wasn't family say that, I was like, oh, so you mean I can just be me and people who aren't family will accept me and family didn't? So that showed me a lot, and I think that just kind of helped me to accept myself. That's why I said the thing earlier that friend showed me how dope I was, because I think a lot of the lens before was like, I need to change. I need to be different. I need to do something different. And friends were just like, you cool. You're good. Like, just come as you are. And that kind of was like, oh, okay. You don't have to do all this extra work with the right people. Like, if it's the wrong people, you do all the work and it still will never matter. They'll want you to do it, but it'll never matter. And with the right people, it's not so much of that expectation. They just love you for you.
Yeah.
There's such freedom in that. I think that's what it kind of gave me, as a freedom.
I like that word. I love that word. All right, this is my last question to the round table.
Yes, because my phone about to die.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go to you first. Just in case. Okay. My last question is, what impact do your friendships have on your life?
Ooh, girl.
Sum it up in two words. No, I'm playing. I'm just playing.
Shit, girl, please. You know what? I'm an only child, so some of my friendships have turned into like sisterhoods, and it had that impact on me, and having the ability to grow up with some people. Like, I don't know, she probably is not still on here, but my friend that was in the comments earlier, like, I grew up with her. I met her at 17 years old, and we still friends. And we've had our arguments and disagreements, but like, if somebody asks, I'd be like, oh, like, yeah, she's like my sister. Like, we call up and check on each other. We've done vacations together. Like, you know, those are people, some of those friendships have been like, they're like family. So that's the impact that they've had on me. And then others were to teach me about the ugly parts of me. And we may not even still be friends, but I'm grateful for those opportunities from those people. Right? Because people don't like to talk about that part. Like, nobody likes to talk about the ugly parts of them, but I had some ugly parts of me, and it turned people off, and we're not cool anymore or whatever. It's still love, and if I see you, it's love, but we just don't, for whatever reason, right? And that's fine. And I learned a lot from those situations, and I had to do some digging and healing and talking to myself, like, ooh, girl, maybe you were kind of X, Y, and Z. Get your shit together. Stop being a bitch. You know, whatever it was, like, right, you know, whatever it was, like, but, you know, people don't like to do that part or talk about that part, but you got to. You have to.
That's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody likes to talk like, act like I'm the good friend, I'm the great friend, I'm the this, I'm the, no, you're not. You well, like that meme that goes around, you the villain in somebody's story. Now, whether you fuck up or not, it's two different things.
Yes.
It's about if you care or not. That's the difference. You know,
we are all
people, I don't care, because, you know, that's the thing to be now. The motherfuckers that don't care about nothing. Okay, great. Bye. I don't care. Okay, well, they don't care. You're never going to grow because you don't care about being ugly. The ugly part of you. You're never going to fix that part because you know, into this I don't care and whatever thing. But no, I cared. And it took me a long time to get over that. We wasn't friends no more.
I love that.
That's good. All right, Derek, what about you?
How did my friendships they molded who I am. They molded my character. Growing up, being raised by women, being the only man in the house, boy in the house, my friends taught me that male companionship is necessary. You know what I mean? That males can be friends and not have to be battling each other, no competition. I mean, they brought me up, they took me down, made me stronger. Female friends have always taught me how to look over my shoulder and be, just watch what another female is bringing, her vibe. So they built my character. They built my discernment. So that's what my friends have done for me.
Travis?
Who fuck knows? Oh, yes. Okay. So, I have a tendency to live and think about things one way. That one way has changed to be different one ways my whole life, but it's always this way of thinking I have that's superior. It's better. People should get on that shit. It's a natural. I don't love it, but it's a natural part of my psyche. And I think there's been times when life is rough. I guess thankfully for me, that's been like few and far between. Like when the stress is so bad, I can't really enjoy the shit I enjoy in life. But in those moments, like to have people there and rely on motherfuckers, like really rely on them, it's eye-opening experience for me. That's not my usual forte. But when you get that shit, man, thank you for bringing that up too, because that opened my eyes, not just to me, but to the world. Like, it got me out of that one way of thinking. Because there's a lot of people, maybe I'll judge them before, I ain't on that weak shit. I don't got to talk to nobody about shit. I handle shit on my own. But when the moments when that's not possible and you have to rely on people, yeah, I've had some homies. I had one in here, Big Gary, H-Town, stand up. Yeah, it held me down, man. Held me down. And so, yeah, it taught me about the world. It taught me about outside myself, break my perspective. I'm not always right. And that duality is important for a healthy psyche, if you ask me. So, yeah, that.
That's good. All right, Sherry, what about you?
My female friend, so I grew up around guys and always around guys. So I always, for most of my life, felt like I had more male friends than females. But in recent years, I think that shifted. And I think my female friends have taught me how to live. I have had suicidal ideation and depression since I was a kid. And I've often felt like I've struggled to find peace and joy, or just certain concepts. Like in my worldview, like I could understand certain things, but I always felt different, and I always felt like, what is that value to others? Like I see my value in myself, but what is that value to others necessarily? And it's crazy because my friend was like, we need you. And that sounds simple to some people, but for me it was a monumental moment of like, your life is beyond just you and your family, right? Like we need you. Like there's things that you're offering the rest of the world. And for me, I don't know, like that was a big moment for me to just look at things, because I knew my kids needed me, I knew my husband needed me, like I understood that component, but like really recognizing, because I think that's a big form of, like a big component of depression, like you're not needed, you're not valued, like what are you offering, what do you have to offer? And I'm not the type of person that just wants to be there, or just wants to be around to be around. Like if I'm not doing something or having a purpose, like what's the point? And I think, I don't know why, but like just her sitting me down and like showing me certain things just showed me like there's reasons for you beyond just your family or just for your friends. Like the things that you do, the things that you say affect so many people. And I think sometimes we get caught up in the lies, like what I'm saying or doing doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anyone. No one cares. Why am I doing this? And I knew it took a lot of vulnerability for her to say that. So that kind of like, I don't know, for me, it was like a wake up call. Like if someone can let you know that your life matters to them and it impacts and affects them, how are you going to take that lightly and say you love them? And it sounds crazy because she went beyond that to say, not only do I need you, but I need you to live a life full of joy. Like you're pushing and pressing for all these people and helping all of these people and caring for all these people, but you're not happy and joyous yourself. And that sat me down because I never had anyone care about me being happy or like me being joyous, right? Like, or like, not that I never had it, but like for someone to express like, this is important to me, that you're happy, that you're joyful, not that you're just living, not that you're just serving everyone else, but are you finding your own peace and joy in this process? That shit sat me down. Like, so it's not just about what I'm doing for others. No. Like, are you happy? I care about you being healthy and happy. And I think that that was meaningful to me to show me, like, not just in how you are with others, but like the example that you live. Like, if you're not living a full life, that does affect the people that you care about. I don't think we always know that or see that in the moments, but I think later, you know, like even with this whole situation with Twitch, seeing how many people were affected by his joy and peace and happiness and the love that he shared for others, but he didn't experience that himself. There's people that feel that sadness for him, not just for themselves. Like, yeah, people are like, oh, I'm sad that I lost you. But there's some people that are genuinely looking at the situation and like, how could you spread so much joy to so many other people and not feel that yourself? That hurts. And I've had several people tell me that. Like, I see you spreading joy to others, but you're not feeling it yourself. You're not experiencing yourself. And I think it goes to what Sky was saying. People that hold you to that next level of accountability where it's just like, yeah, that's all good and great, but here's some things you need to work on. Not for anyone other than yourself. And there's something powerful to see, like, oh, people care about you on that level. And therefore, it's like almost a standard for yourself, too. Like, if I love, it's not just about me loving them and wanting the best for them. It's also about them wanting that for me, therefore, in honor of them living that. So I feel like for me, it really gave me a fight for life, I guess, in a way, where like I see that there's things just beyond myself that I need to live for. And I think that was it was awakening, but it was also like a responsibility. Like your responsibility and your actions and your thoughts and your behaviors don't just affect you. Like, of course they affect you, of course they affect your family, but they also affect people that you don't realize are being impacted. And it just kind of expanded my view, I guess.
That's good. I like that. For me, I'm gonna say my friendships taught me what family is, and they taught me what being able to depend on somebody is, and they taught me what love is. I don't actually have a relationship with my blood relatives outside of my sister. Really, very few people in my blood related to do I have a relationship with. So when I said, when you are my friend, if I call you my friend, you are my family. Like Scott said earlier, like you know, she was talking about growing up as a only child. Yeah, my friendships taught me what they became my family. So yeah, I'm appreciative of that. All right, it's been 2 hours on the dot. We gotta wrap this up. Really quickly before we go, I just want to, because neither one of them mentioned it, Sky has a podcast that I would love for y'all to tap into. Oh, I'm Just a Mom, available on all platforms. If you guys follow me, you will know that I did a couple of episodes with her over the summer, and just recently we did a couple of episodes together as well. She didn't mention that, but check it out. Oh, I'm Just a Mom. If you follow her, you'll find out where to find her podcast, where to find her podcast, but it's available everywhere. Also, Sherry and Travis did not mention that they have a podcast as well. They never do. But I'm going to highlight it. It's called Codependent Podcast, super fire. Also available on all streaming platforms as well. So make sure that y'all tap into those two podcasts. They're super dope.
And
Mhm.
hold on. So y'all, oh, I'm just a mom is not about all mom shit, okay? It's like being an ass, okay? I'm more than a mom. I just, it's just like, oh, I don't know shit. I'm just a mom, but no, I got a lot of stuff to say. It's not just about moms. So don't feel like you had to have carried a baby for 9 months and whatever to get on there. We talk about real things, real things.
I got that from your name, by the way, but I understand where you're coming from because I feel like sometimes we do feel like people don't see between the lines or like see the deeper. But no, I definitely got that. And I love that also. Like, it is dope because I think that's necessary to see. I know I've been a stay-at-home, so I felt like that, like, oh, I'm just a mom. I think that's important to see. That was, when you talk about friendships, add that to the list. I need you to be able to talk about more than just your kids. More than just being a mom. Like, ooh, yeah.
That part.
Thanks. And I'm gonna need you to be able to get out the house sometimes, okay?
Yes.
We working on that.
We are. That's the thing. That's 2023. We on it. For those of y'all who joined us tonight, thank you so much for tapping in. All the feedback that we get, after y'all watch these lives, the comments that we get, the shares that we get, I wholeheartedly appreciate them. So keep them coming. Don't stop. I do not take those lightly. We'll be back again in January. So be on the lookout for that. To all of y'all, if y'all celebrate any of the upcoming holidays or the holiday that we're in, I think we're in Hanukkah right now, right? I think maybe. Did it start? I think it started. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Make sure y'all go into 2023 with great intention. Be intentional about how y'all gonna show up in 2023 and what y'all want y'all 2023 to look like. We out of here. God bless you. Good night.
Bless you.
Bye.
Peace.